All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are digging into one of the biggest, most heated debates in modern finance, Bitcoin versus gold. And we're going to do it by looking at a recent high-stakes debate between two of its fiercest champions. You've got crypto pioneer Changpeng Zhao, you know him as CZ, and on the other side, the legendary gold bug, Peter Schiff.
So right out of the gate, Peter Schiff just lays down the gauntlet. He says Bitcoin is basically like fiat currency because it's backed by, well, nothing. For him, if you can't touch it, if it's not tangible, it's no different from the government money he's always criticized. But, and this is the crazy part, the story doesn't start with a fight. It actually starts on some surprisingly common ground.
Yeah, before we get to the real clash of ideologies, let's look at this one idea where, believe it or not, both of these guys actually find some agreement, and it's all about making good old-fashioned gold ready for the digital age.
So check this out. Schiff's own project is all about this idea of tokenizing gold. The concept's actually pretty simple. Imagine you own a gold bar, right? But instead of lugging it around, you lock it up in some super secure vault. The vault then gives you a digital receipt, a token. And that token represents your gold. You can then send that digital token to anyone, anywhere, instantly. It's basically a digital claim check, and it's a heck of a lot easier and safer to use than the physical metal.
And here is the big twist. CZ totally agrees with him. He immediately gets it. Making gold digital? Well, that solves its biggest physical headaches, right? How do you divide it? How do you move it? This is a really crucial moment of consensus, right before the philosophical gloves come off.
Okay, but that little bubble of agreement, it pops pretty much immediately. As soon as we get to the really fundamental question, what actually gives something value in the first place?
And boom, this is where you see the huge philosophical divide. It's a total clash of worldviews. On one side, you have Schiff. His argument is, very traditional. Value has to come from something tangible, something with real-world use. Gold, for instance, gets used in jewelry, in electronics. It's a physical thing. But then you've got CZ. His view is pure digital age. Value can be completely virtual, coming from the power and function of the network itself. A great way to think about it is the internet, right? Its value isn't physical, it's in all the connections it makes possible.
So for Schiff, it's like this. Being able to transfer something from me to you is kind of meaningless if that something is, in his eyes, just nothing. He's saying the value has to come from what the asset can do in the real world, not just from the fact that we can move it around on a digital ledger.
Okay, so how does CZ respond? Well, he doesn't just use words. He pulls off this brilliant piece of stagecraft. He brings an actual 1 kilogram gold bar right out on stage. I mean, talk about making the debate tangible.
And the second that gold bar is sitting there, he starts hitting Schiff with all these practical questions. The kind of questions that have always plagued physical assets. And of course, the very same questions that digital assets were literally invented to solve.
And just like that, CZ's point becomes crystal clear. With a physical gold bar, you're dealing with some serious friction. I mean, how do you even know it's real? How do you break off a tiny piece to pay for a cup of coffee? And forget about trying to take it across a border. These are exactly the kinds of problems that digital assets like Bitcoin just eliminate by their very nature.
So, okay, we've heard the theories, but the real question, the crucial point, is how does all this actually play out in the real world? Is Bitcoin just this speculative thing people trade, or are people actually using it as money?
Schiff's take here is really straightforward, and it goes right back to his traditional view of money. For him, money needs to be stable, like a yardstick. People price stuff in dollars or euros, not Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's price is all over the place. He basically sees it as a chip in a giant digital casino, not something you'd actually use to buy your groceries.
But CZ's counter isn't about theory, it's about people. He shares this powerful story about a user in Africa. Before crypto, it would take this person 3 days just to pay a bill. After crypto, 3 minutes. That's a life-changing improvement. For that person, the utility isn't some abstract idea, it's completely real and undeniable.
And then he points to really practical tools that are bridging this gap, like the Binance Card. There are millions of these things out there. They let people spend their crypto in the real world just like any other card. And from the user's point of view, it's totally seamless. They feel like they're paying with crypto, even though the shop on the other end is getting regular local currency.
So, this brings us to the final frontier of their whole debate, the future. What's the next generation, the true digital natives, going to choose? What are they going to trust with their savings?
And wow, their predictions could not be more different. Schiff basically sees a future where young people get totally wiped out by Bitcoin, learn a very painful lesson, and then turn back to the reliability of gold. But CZ, he sees an inevitable, almost natural shift. The next generation is going to prefer the asset that's native to their digital world, an asset of the internet.
Yeah, Schiff really doesn't pull any punches here. He believes the wild price swings of Bitcoin aren't some cool feature of a new asset. He thinks it's just a harsh, expensive lesson that's waiting to be learned, especially by younger, more speculative investors.
So in the end, when you really boil it all down, this whole debate isn't just about Bitcoin versus gold. It's about two completely different visions for the future of value itself. One vision is rooted in thousands of years of physical history. The other is being built right now in the borderless digital world of tomorrow. And that leaves all of us with a really big question to think about.